Again, mentioning it's 124 days since Brittney Griner was wrongfully imprisoned in Russia. And we would like to urge the Biden administration to do everything they can to help bring our teammate home. We want to, for her family, for our community, most importantly for Brittney. And she's not, this is not a situation, 124 days is a long, long time. And we need to get her home as soon as possible. And that's only going to happen if President Biden makes the decision to bring her home. So we urge him strongly to take that step. And if you know him, call him, because we need her home. Thank you.
1 year later.
I mean, it was great, but like, honestly, come on, LA. Like, we didn't sell out the arena for BG. Like, I expected more, you know, to be honest, right? Like, it was great, it was loud, but how was it not a sellout? How was it not a sellout? But
boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about a pretty hilarious story, because this story is a reminder that wokeness will not save you when your job performance is not good, okay? Just because you come out here and woke virtue signal, you say all the right things that corporate America and the woke revolutionaries want to hear, it doesn't mean that your job is going to be saved, because your job comes before all of your social justice aspirations. And the Mercury head coach, Vanessa Nygaard, who happens to be the coach of Brittney Griner, okay, she learned that the hard way, as this coach was fired after a 2-10 start, despite the fact that they have Brittney Griner back on the team. Now, again, this coach is known for being super woke, okay, and I'm actually going to play a montage here of some of the things that she said, because, again, I think that she focused more on wokeness than her actual job, and that's probably what led to her getting fired. So I want to talk about that. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can check out my new merch. For example, like my racist mug, which is a daily reminder of the 2023 definition of racist according to the left, which is anybody who disagrees with the Democrat Party. Has my logo on the back, Team BCP. If you guys want to check that out, you can at my website, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code Team BCP. So without further ado, roll this clip of this coach getting way too political, right, for a basketball coach. Take a look.
So really excited tonight that our team has decided to support the fight against gun violence in America. And as part of that, myself and Brianna Turner, we met with a group of activists in our community last week. And it was really emotional. They shared their stories. And they were moms. I'm a mom too. And so it was just... Okay. Hi, everyone. As everyone by now likely knows, yesterday there was an incident with BG and our team at the Dallas airport. No one should be a victim of targeted harassment. I'm grateful that our team and our staff are physically okay. And most of all, I'm grateful that BG has been back here in the United States for 185 days now. And if her being home makes some people mad, I think that obviously says more about them than it does about her.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Vanessa Nygaard, who apparently is a social justice activist while also trying to be an NBA coach, again, didn't seem to work out too well for her. Again, this person has a history of being woke, okay? Like, for example, when Brittney Griner was detained in Russia, she the one that asked, well, is race and gender slowing Brittney Griner's return? Okay, she implied that if Brittney Griner was a man, right, Brittney Griner would have been back in the United States. Okay, she also is the same coach that attacked fans for not showing up for Brittney Griner's return. Okay, because apparently fans are supposed to show up for Brittney Griner's return because it's Brittney Griner, right? You're supposed to show out. Okay, but even the woke fans that claim they support Brittney Griner didn't even show up, and she got mad about it, right? She expressed her frustrations with it. Yeah, I want y'all to understand that she's not the only woke coach in the WNBA. In fact, the whole WNBA is woke, right? Like, the coach of the Minnesota Lynx, okay, look, she's wearing a Protect Trans Kids shirt, okay? I wonder if this coach would be okay with biological men competing against these women in the WNBA, right? Maybe she would be, because if biological men were in the WNBA, then maybe more people would watch it, okay? Which means that, who knows? Maybe coaches like her would actually get paid more. They would benefit. Who knows? But I'm just saying, the whole league is woke, right? They're 100% on board with the far left social agenda. But when it comes to Phoenix Mercury head coach Vanessa Nygaard, her woke virtue signaling was not enough. Okay, it was not enough to stop her from ultimately losing her job, as the Phoenix Mercury are a disaster. And this is basically after they hire her, because they went to the finals in 2021, and then once she became coach in 2022, the team started to fall apart. Now, Brittney Griner, got locked up in Russia. But at the same time, I don't think that's an excuse for this team performing so bad. So let's read about it, because again, woke virtue signaling did not save this person's job. The Phoenix Mercury have parted ways with head coach Vanessa Nygaard and promoted Nikki Blue to interim head coach for the remainder of the season, the team announced on Sunday. Nygaard, who was just hired in 2022, is the first coach in the league to be fired this season and ends her tenure with a 17-31 record. Phoenix's front office made the decision less than a day after the team was crushed by the Seattle Storm 97-74 for their fifth straight defeat. Now just 2-10, the Mercury are in last place in the league and on pace to miss the playoffs for the first time since 2012. Right? Here's the amazing thing about this, okay? Imagine being a woke coach and you spent all this time boohoo, whining, and crying about Brittney Griner coming home, okay? Just for her to come home and your team is still a disaster, right? Your team might have got worse, even though Brittney Griner, apparently is playing pretty well. Okay. She's going to make the All-Star team, the WNBA All-Star team. Again, your team is a disaster, which tells me that your priorities are misplaced. Okay. Your priorities are misplaced. Okay. You should have focused more on coaching than being a woke activist. To some extent, Nygaard was dealt a losing hand. Again, here come the excuses, right? There's always excuses for the mainstream liberal media when it comes to this type of stuff. Less than a month after she was hired last year, Brittney Griner was detained in Russia on drug charges and ended up missing the entire season. Her absence was a massive loss on the court, obviously, and also took a major emotional toll on the team and franchise. In addition, they were beset by a series of injuries and finished the season without Skylar Diggins-Smith and Diana Taurasi. Just making the playoffs was an impressive accomplishment considering the circumstances. Yeah, so last year they made the playoffs with a losing record, by the way, right? Had a losing record. And this year, they're doing even worse. They haven't had much better luck this season. Diggins Smith is on maternity leave, and it's unclear when or if she's going to play this summer. And while Griner has made her emotional return, she and Taurasi have already missed multiple games with minor injuries. Not much is going to change until they get healthy and Diggins Smith comes back, but they had to change something, and Nygaard was the best option. That Nygaard didn't appear to have the best relationship with her stars, particularly Diggins Smith, didn't help her position. Yeah, so again, there's been some back and forth, okay, between the head coach and some of the players. They don't necessarily gel as much as they should. But again, I mean, that happened. Blue played 5 seasons in the league with the Washington Mystics and New York Liberty from 2006 to 2010. Before her playing days were over, she began her coaching career as an assistant at the college gate level with UNLV. After more than a decade as an assistant coach at numerous schools, Blue joined Nygaard's staff as an assistant last season. This will be her first opportunity to run the show. Yeah, so what a disaster this is, right? All that hype about Brittney Griner returning back to the NBA just for her to get on the team, and the team is a disaster, okay? The woke coach gets fired. You couldn't write a better story than this, right? Again, instead of being focused on social justice and politics, should have been more focused on coaching, doing your job. Because, again, the woke virtue signaling is never going to save you, right? It reminds me of these people, the diversity and inclusion hires that got so upset when Big Tech did their layoffs. They got mad because Big Tech has woke virtue signal that, hey, we love you, we want you because of your race, right? We need you because of your race, okay? We're woke. But then the money was at stake when interest rates increased and money wasn't cheap anymore. They just couldn't, borrow money for nothing, they had to make some cuts. The first thing they cut was from the woke departments, right? They cut the woke revolutionaries. They let them go because ultimately they weren't contributing positively to the bottom line. They were a net negative on the company. And that happens every single time. Okay, these companies are only woke for money, right? But once profit or a lack of profit gets in the way of the wokeness, or wokeness gets in the way of the profit, you see they change, right? They do a whole 180 on their position. It happens every single time. Some companies just take longer than others to realize that wokeness is not profitable, right? That you're not going to make money off of it. Companies like Disney seem to continue to lose money based off wokeness, and they just continue to double down on it because apparently maybe they think it'll work out in the long term, but definitely ain't working in the short term. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.